If you cheat us, we'll tear your soul apart. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Max.
I'm Chris.
I'm Darcy.
It's episode 96. It's Halloween month. Whoop whoop. We're doing all horror movies this month.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be scary and spooky stuff. So if you don't like it, get out of here. We're only doing horror. That's it. That's all it's going to be from now on until October 31st and plus 1 day. Then we're going back to the regularly scheduled programming of nice movies that don't make you scared.
Yeah.
How are we all doing on this week?
Feeling spooky.
We're feeling it. We're recording this on the 29th
Yeah.
of the one before October. I've forgotten the name for it. But it's not October yet. But it will be when this comes out. Funny how time works like that.
You made me yawn.
Sorry. I was thinking back the other day about how I was going to a gig in Southampton one night. I was walking through a park. And I thought this could be a Halloween-y thing. But I was walking through the park and I saw a bunch of rats. And they were like standing underneath a tree having some sort of a dance. Some sort of a jig. Thoughts?
What?
That's just what they do.
What, some sort of like Stuart Little?
No, he didn't really have any mouse friends. It was more like a Ratatouille type situation.
Oh, he was just dancing.
It was like
on
a
his
dance
worms.
off or something. It was like 10 of them. I was like, okay. I was walking through a bar. I was like, okay. That's 10 rats just sitting under a tree.
That's kind of cute.
Happy Halloween. Oh, this was like the other month though. We were in preparation.
That's what they do. They have to get their pre-Halloween rituals done.
For Ratoween. Ratoween. Halloween. Whatever I was saying about the Ratatouille movie. Yeah. I don't think they were making food though. It was more like an 8 Mile type thing.
They're having a wrap off.
Yeah. A rat off. Eh?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about rats crumping.
What?
Yeah, rats crumping.
Rats crumping?
Because they're having like a wrap off, and they're like crumping as they're rapping because they're rats, and that's.
It's out there. The rats
how
are
you
crumping.
imagine, yeah.
Get out there and go find your local crumping rat.
There's that YouTube meme where like people put just a bunch of songs over just a video of a rat spinning in circles.
What? Oh my god, yeah.
So, I don't
Why
know.
do I know that? Why, it's you. You've done that to me. I know it because of you.
He'll just find like really random videos, and he'll be like laughing at it, and then I'll look over and I'll be like, "What the hell is this?"
Like that one with
Giggles to
the
himself.
dancing cow.
Yeah, I don't get half the shit that he comes up with. Like he'll just send you something, and he'll be
Why
like,
do I know that too? Fucking hell.
"There's
the one with
there's
the
too
dancing
many."
cow. You know that
Yeah.
one.
Well, that
Yeah, I
was
wish I
like the
didn't,
outro to one of these episodes. Was just that song.
Go and find that one. And tell us that you found the dancing cow one.
Yeah.
You have to listen to all of the episodes. But it'll be worth it.
It's like a Where's Wally of a dancing cows.
Where's cow?
Where's cow?
Horror movies. Halloween. What are our thoughts? Do we love horror? And do we love Halloween? Do we have any Halloween plans this year?
Yes to all three.
Yes to all three. Best genre, maybe. Or some of the best movies from the horror genre.
Yeah, it's like interesting because I feel like the horror genre is like it's filled with some of the best movies ever made, but it's also filled with like 100% the worst movies ever made in like film history.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've never really understood how that
I think it's
kind of
because
works.
it's just like people watch horror movies, so I think like it's like something that it's a safe bet. People will go watch it like regardless of how much money you put into it. So like a lot of really low budget shitty horror movies exist literally because they're just like, oh yeah, people will still watch this regardless.
I am one of those people.
Yeah, we do though.
Yeah, but
I like those
love
kinds
them,
of movies, yeah. I like a paranormal ascendancy every once in a while.
Yeah.
It makes you realize things.
Probably just makes you appreciate good movies. Saying that, I haven't seen
Sometimes.
it, so I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's amazing.
Well, in a few weeks' time, you'll
Just
have
you
the
wait.
pleasure.
You might
Oh,
be
God,
able to
yeah.
watch it. Who knows? It's coming, maybe. Paranormal Ascendancy.
It's coming, maybe.
It's coming,
It's
maybe.
there. Woo!
It's in our futures. Yeah.
Max had a tarot reading, and they said you will have paranormal ascendancy in your future.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Halloween, speaking of which, me and Darcy went to the cinema
Yes.
yesterday.
Speaking of which,
As we speak, we watched a horror movie, a new horror movie. I think it's a horror movie. It's sort of a thrillery type of mystery,
yeah,
sci-fi thing. Who knows what it is, really?
yeah. I would
It's,
have gone for thriller, maybe.
I've forgotten the name of it. Hello, Darling, I think it's called.
Don't
Hello,
worry, darling.
Don't. What?
Hello, Dolly. What?
Hello, Dolly. No, that's not it. Hello.
I just said what it was.
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling is the name of the movie.
I can never tell whether Max is joking when he does it either.
I keep forgetting it.
I don't remember what he called it the other day. I think he said "Good afternoon, darling" or
Yeah,
something. I was like, "What the
something
fuck
like
are you
that.
saying?"
It's got a D in it, I think. It was new movie from Olivia Wilde, starring Florence Pugh and some other people. It's about the 1950s. Alice and Jack, they are there. Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, we know them, we love them. They're in a place in the 1950s American suburb. They're loving it, loving everything. Florence Pugh is the wife. Harry Styles is the what's the
Husband.
one that's the husband? I was going to say father. No, he's not. He goes to work. He comes home. She makes him dinner over and over again, all forever. Chris Pine is there. He's the runner of this town. He's like, guys, this is our town. We're making what we want. We're great. Society sucks. We're doing our own town society. And everyone's like, yes, Chris Pine. This is our thing. We are doing. This is ours. They say that a lot. This is our. What is this? This is ours or something. Forgot.
No, that was pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was
They
said.
have
It
it-
was like some
yeah.
weird cultish chant.
Whose town is it?
Yeah,
it's ours
yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like whose future is it? Something like that. And they go to a rally. It's not really a rally, but it sort of is.
It was like an initiation of sorts. It was weird. It was strange.
Sort of. That's the movie then. That's basically the movie. Just that over and over again. Oh, what the fuck's happening here? There's something crazy happening, and then there's this woman. She's like, oh, they're doing something to us, Florence. They're fucking doing some bullshit here. And Florence is like, yeah. No, I think about it. They are doing some bullshit, actually. So she's got to figure out what is the bullshit. Why is Chris Pine like that? What's he doing? What's he up to? All this in the new Olivia Wilde movie. Don't worry, darling. That one. What do we think? Initial thoughts. Pretty great. Chris didn't see this with
Yeah,
us.
so Chris is
He was a
sitting this whole thing
pussy,
out.
pussied out. Don't want to see that. Everyone said it
Uh.
sucks and it's not good, so I'm not going to see it. Well, more fool you, my friend. You missed out on a fucking cracker.
It was insane, but like it was alright. It was.
It was eight.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was aight.
Yeah, like people were saying about how like terrible it was because of like
Yeah.
all
Like,
this
this is the
drama
worst
that it
movie in the
started
world.
with.
Look at the bullshit they tried to pull
Yeah.
in this one.
And I was just like, it wasn't as
Yeah.
that bad. It was.
It's sort of bullshitty.
Oh, 100%. There is things in this film that are just like me and Max were laughing at things
Yeah.
that like weren't supposed to be like funny,
Yeah.
but we were still howling because that's just what me and Max do at this point. Like we'll go to the cinema and one of us will laugh at something and then someone else will laugh at something else and then like both of us just laugh at something that's just so
Yeah.
like unhinged. And you just get people like looking at you like left and right like
Why are these people laughing in this serious movie where Harry Styles is really hot?
there were some really fucking hilarious things that happened.
It was definitely, I think my favourite part was probably that it felt like a movie.
I can't believe that as a genuine that was a thing that was said by someone
By Harry Styles.
who was in a fucking
My
movie.
favourite thing about this one is actually that it feels like a fucking movie or whatever, you know? It actually feels like, cinema.
I don't know what
He was right.
I don't know what you meant by that though.
I've seen a lot of movies. This is one of them. You know,
He was so convinced.
you get away from it and you're like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, a lot of it was really boring, I thought. Because it's just the same thing over and over again. And you're like, she's got to figure out something. But like when you've seen it all before and like, I mean, very hairy parallels between this and the Truman Show.
Very
That's
much
sort of
so.
what it's going for. But also with like the Matrix and all that. It's like a bunch of bullshit that they cram together. And it's, in that way, I guess it's not really that unique. It is something I've seen a million times before. I don't really care too much for it. But I will say, you got to see it just to believe it.
Yeah,
It's one of them movies.
You you come out of it and you think, how do I explain this movie to another human being without making them watch the thing themselves? Because it's
Something
not a
else.
movie. It doesn't make sense.
Florence Pugh is good though. I will say that.
The thing is, I
don't
thought
care
everyone was okay.
too much for like the performances. I thought everybody did like a whatever kind of job, but Florence Pugh kind of pulled it out of the bag. She was the standout, and as she was the lead, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, she is a great actress, to be fair.
Yeah, like I don't think
Yeah,
I
so is
thought-
Chris Pine.
the
He's
thing is,
great.
yeah,
He didn't do much though. I don't know.
no, yeah, I thought he was going to be in it more because they kind of
They
don't
hint
know.
at like this kind
Yeah.
of thing where he's like the leader of this place, and she's like, "I know what you're fucking doing, Chris Pine," and he's like, "Oh, we'll see what you know what I'm doing." And there was like they were sowing the seeds of like a rivalry or like something that could happen, some sort of power dynamic that was going to clash. And he was like, "I'm interested to see what you do." And she doesn't really do much.
Yeah, I think everyone. I remember people getting before we'd even seen it, getting upset about the fact that Chris Pine and Harry. Well, obviously Chris Pine and Harry Styles are in this film, right? But
Yeah.
everyone was getting upset about the fact that Chris Pine's barely in it, and he's obviously a trained professional actor. And everyone was like, "Why the fuck would anyone put Harry Styles as one of the main cast members when you got Chris Pine in this movie?"
Yeah,
And
well,
I
I
thought, you know what,
mean,
fair enough.
Harry Styles will sell more tickets.
I don't know. Chris Pine is mighty fine. That has always been my tagline.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Harry Styles is like probably one of, if not the biggest pop star on the planet at the moment.
Yeah, but
Like, you're gonna
go
get
and watch
loads
it,
of people
go and
go
watch this
see it.
movie.
Hey, he's hot and sexy.
He is hot and sexy, but that's
Olivia
not the point.
Wilde sure thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair actually. I mean, I'm not saying everyone in this film is absolutely fucking hot as hell, but
Well, sure. That's
doth it make a good
modern cinema.
movie? No.
No, I mean, he was fine.
Yeah, he was
But
okay. I thought he was better than
I was kind of
know.
cringing a bit. He kind of can't act that well.
no.
He's no Chris Pine,
I think
who I actually think is a good actor.
what I thought was worse though was that we can't, I think we briefly mentioned it when we left, was that everyone was like saying how shit an actor he is and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, fair enough, it's not really his first profession, is it? Like, he's not as bad as people were saying he was, but I think what really pissed me off was that he was a British guy, because he is obviously British, but he was doing a different British accent. Like, why didn't he
Yeah,
just
he sounded a
talk
bit
like himself?
fake.
He sounded like he was from like
Sounded like an
Manchester
American
or something.
trying
Yeah.
to put on a British accent.
And I don't get it. He's literally British. I don't understand why he needed to put on a thicker accent if he's already got the... Because if you're with two American actors, you're going to sound more British by
You
default
already
anyway.
stand out, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, why
Yeah.
the fuck did you do that? And then every now and again, he'll have a twang of like American at the end of like his sentences.
I think that might just be how he sounds nowadays.
Does he
'cause
live in
he's-
America or
Yeah,
something? Oh,
he's lived
actually,
in there
then-
for a few years. He's kind of got a bit of like an
Ah.
American-y sort of twang to
Do you
his
what?
voice.
I had thought that when I was watching it. I thought, oh, maybe he's got that twang because he lives in America. But I didn't know if he actually did. I thought I just made that up in my head. Like, oh, maybe he
Mhm.
lives there, so he sounds like that now. But he was hamming it up a bit, and it just didn't sound right. I was like, oh, he should have just spoke normally. He still would have stood
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Still,
probably.
yeah,
I mean,
just weird.
he's far from like the worst part about the movie, I thought.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think just basically in like the problems I have with it are basically just like in the execution, because I think it could have made a good movie. It's a pretty interesting concept, even though it's been done before. But like, I like the setting at least,
Yeah.
and I like how it's put together.
Yeah, it had
but-
its own twist, I think. Like its
Mhm.
own personality to it. Something unique
Yeah.
about it.
There's unique and interesting things happening, and
Yeah.
just getting like lots of hallucinations. I wish they'd have done more with it. Like, I don't know why she was having those hallucinations. Really, she's just like hallucinating about like women doing a dance, and
Yeah.
like an eye. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you'd have done something more. I don't know. I just feel like, what's the point
It was
in
kind of
having like a bunch of hallucinations? Like, I understand sort of why, but like, I wish they'd have been like fed to us in a more interesting way.
yeah, it was kind of done really lazy. They were just like, hey, remember that video that you've seen 100 times about the women dancing? Guess what? It's on a projection on the wall. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
There's a point made in this movie that all the men go off to work at the same time and the women stay at home and clean and then cook when the men come home. But you don't really know what the men are doing. They like drive into their work at this place called like Victory, like the Victory Project. And everybody else like, sometimes they ask, what do you do? And like, oh, I'm some guy for this place and we do it's like stuff.
We do victory stuff.
It's like a bunch of like corporate bullshit that like sometimes when you ask people like what do
Yeah.
you do, and they say like a bunch of bullshit, like I go on like LinkedIn a bit and read people's jobs and they're like, oh, I'm like
I
a
thought you were-
facilities manager,
Yeah.
customer experience manager, research ops lead, or like global corporate travel leader. I got all these from
Oh.
LinkedIn, and it's like, what does that fucking mean?
Or mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, I'm in mergers and acquisitions.
That's the
And it's
classic
like-
example, right?
And all this time they're like, well, what the fuck? What's that?
Yeah.
And then Florence Pugh was like, actually, I'm fucking annoyed now. What the fuck do you mean? What is that? And it's like, yeah, of course you'd question it because
Yeah.
it's stupid as fuck. Like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, I can't really tell you. It's top secret stuff. It's
Yeah.
like,
And he
that's
doesn't even
bullshit.
seem to really like know.
no. Well, he knows.
Yeah, no,
He
but I mean,
knows.
like the way he explains it is like
'Cause
he
he
doesn't
goes
even
there.
know what he does.
But it's like, if you wanted to... Okay, so can we spoil this movie now, Chris?
Yeah, go
We've
ahead.
already spoiled it, to be honest.
It's about like she's in the Matrix and their relationship is not going very well. They're in America. He's got long hair and he's American and he looks like shit. She's like an ER person. She's like a doctor or something.
Yeah.
And,
She sounds British, though, which is weird.
She is British, but Florence
Oh.
Pugh's British.
Oh.
That's not, she's
Sorry. Do you
she
know
does a good American
Oh, okay.
accent.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
what I thought. I actually thought she was American because she sounds American. Does that make sense?
So like Harry Styles is like, my life's shit, our life's shit. We live in this place and it's disgusting. I'm gonna go to this place where they can make my life great, and I go into the Matrix, and our life can be like it like in the 50s, and we're great.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have to like drug my girlfriend and fucking put her in the game, and then she'll live as a like housewife and have a great life because we're not having a great life, but I'm not going to tell her about it. And
Yeah,
when that's
it's-
revealed, you're
yeah.
like, okay, that makes sense. And I don't know if they do much with it really.
Yeah, it
but-
wasn't quite shocking. I thought maybe because I think you're supposed to be like, whoa, what the fuck? Because you see her like in,
Yeah.
like she's all drugged up, she's on restraints and stuff, and you're like, I think you're supposed to be like, whoa, that's crazy. But I was just like, oh, finally, it makes sense now.
I don't know. I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I want to know what's going on here. But then when they reveal it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was kind of like, okay.
And as soon as she understands what's going on, she's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get out of here then. And everyone's like, nah, you can't leave. And then she leaves. And that's
Yeah.
the end of the movie.
Yeah, but does she leave?
Yeah. That's the whole... Like, she gets in her car and she's like... And everyone's like, no, fuck. Florence Pugh, get the fuck back here. You've got to be in 1950s Matrix. And she's like, I don't want to be in 1950s Matrix. I want to leave because I'm like just lying in a bed and my boyfriend has to fucking soak a rag and like dribble water into my mouth to stop me from dehydrating and dying so that I can live forever as an AI copy of myself in the 50s. But like she has to like drive a car to where they work, and because they're not allowed to like go outside the confines of like this place, this
it's like
town.
a headquarters
Yeah,
thing.
so she's like,
She's like driving out to the fucking desert.
I'm gonna get out of here, and then she gets out of there, and and then it ends.
Yeah,
It fucking ends.
yeah. It just stops.
Okay.
But like, I actually, do you know what? When we were first watching it, I actually thought it was going to be some like strange, fucked up like war film almost, because it would, like 1950s, and they're talking about like fucking what's it, all the fucking victory stuff, and I was like, oh, is this some sort of like we're gonna get some weird spin on some sort of like weird war drama? No. It was even weirder than that, apparently.
I kind of thought from like the very beginning, I was like, what if they're just like actually in like the modern day? That'd suck, right?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Just like The Village.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know what that is.
I've not seen The Village,
movie
Well, I've
where
never
that's
seen
the plot twist.
Right, yeah. So they knighted us.
they did a little bit. It was alright though.
It was all right.
I'd watch it, but I wouldn't pay to go and see it, if that makes sense. Like if it was on like Prime or something, I'd be like, yeah, go on, have a little watch.
They like electroshock therapy her. They're like, she's getting close to the secrets. She's getting close to the truth. We gotta electroshock therapy her so that she
was probably
stops
the worst part.
being like, so she stops knowing what we're doing. And then like they take her back home. She's like, I'm cool again. And was like, yay, well done. If she like gets back and just like, I guess it didn't matter because she's like, wait a minute, you, what did you do, Harry Styles? What did you do to me? And it's like, it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, why include it then? Yeah, it's like and the thing is, it wasn't even like a slow burn either. Like she instantly remembered, like she saw like a couple, heard her name, and she was like, wait the fucking second.
Harry Styles is like, oh, thank God, they're electroshock therapy, my wife. Now we can be 1950s husband and wife again. And like, I don't know, he
said
looks
something
at her funny, or he says like one stupid line that she remembers from the real world, and she's like, oh my God, what did you do to me?
I was like, why would you
what did it matter that you were electroshocked?
Yeah, there was just no need.
No need.
Mm.
And then they get rid of like Chris Pine in the most stupid, dumb way. All the women
How
are like,
anticlimactic was that?
I remember. And then his wife Gemma Chan's like she knows.
Yeah, she just keeps calling him a stupid man.
You stupid man. You stupid fucking bastard. And it's like, well, that's the end of that then, because she kills him, I guess. And like, I don't know, I just wanted a bit more in terms of like the psychology of it, or like what it would do to you. I wanted I feel like it could have had like 10-15 more minutes to wrap up. I wanted to see Florence Pugh kill Harry Styles in the real world.
Yeah, I also I just felt really bad for Chris Pine as like an actor as well as a character. Because,
he could have been a really good character.
How can you just I don't know, he had so much potential as like this like evil overlord who like ran a podcast and decided to fucking start his own world, and they just went, do you know what? Get his wife to kill him. This secondary character, we need
to wrap it all up immediately.
We'll just stab him. And I thought, okay.
We need more to it. We need like the end of the third act.
Yeah, I felt like
kind
nothing.
of cut it off.
Yeah.
And they're like, just, what's going to happen. Like, well, not really.
Well,
not
no,
really.
but I the thing that I think that's what the thing that me and Max was just laughing at, like all the way towards the end, was I think it just turned around and we started laughing. It was like, you die in the game, you die in real life. Yeah. We just couldn't stop.
They said something like that, didn't they?
Said something stupid like, if you die in the fake world, they find your body in real life and kill your real body.
Yeah.
And we were like, why though? And we just couldn't stop laughing because we were like, what does it even mean?
Stupid as hell.
Like, why does it
what
matter?
happens to the other women who were there, who are under the spell, or whatever, who are in the Matrix? Do they she doesn't know
Yeah.
their addresses. She doesn't know. She's the only one who gets out.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens? I don't get
Yeah,
it.
does it all get shut down? Like, what's the plan?
It's so stupid. It's so annoying, but it's really interesting.
Oh yeah, I would watch.
It's a very interesting movie to watch, purely because Olivia Wilde thinks she's making something amazing, and that's fun to watch. I think it's fun to watch somebody trying to make what they think is their magnum opus, but it's actually not that good.
Has she made any other movies? I don't know.
Booksmart.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon?
Booksmart's a...
Oh, I like Booksmart though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I prefer Booksmart or do Hello Darling? I probably prefer this one, to be honest, but only
the
because
one that forgets the title of.
in like some sort of sick, twisted way, because I think it's funnier and stupider. I would watch this sooner than I would watch Booksmart again, which I think is a more competently made movie, but ultimately
I see what you mean. For
less
entertainment
investing.
value, this film is like off the chain for so many reasons.
It's got like a bunch of like breathing music, like the score is like
oh my god,
and every time something weird happens they go like
yeah, it was like
this is annoying.
There'd be times where like I thought they were trying to do like, oh, I can't even talk about it right now because we haven't talked about the films yet. But actually, we'll circle back round. But basically, the music was annoying, and I thought it was meant to be like part of something, but then it just turned out it was just there for the sake of being there.
Can you tell me what that plane crash was about, or like why it mattered? There was like a plane that came into the place, and it was like on fire.
Wait, I think I know.
And she was like, "What the fuck?" So she goes to check it out, and it like apparently it supposedly crashes, but we never see it.
Yeah, like so I don't think there's much reason for it other than was Frank Chris Pine, right? Yeah. He's like, I've been waiting for someone like you to question me. I feel like he's like, because he's like the overlord, isn't he? He knows where everyone is at all times. Maybe he was like, right, she's on the bus. Send that plane in now. And it has like no one in it. It's got nothing. It's just a CGI or something. And she's
so you
like,
think
shit.
He provoked her
yeah,
to
I think
do
so.
that?
Because, do you know what? I don't know whether he just didn't want to do it anymore, whether he was just, maybe he was bored. Like, he seems like that kind of guy who wants to just cause up a fuss. Because there's no other reason for it to happen. He felt like he wanted more from the world that he created, I suppose. Yeah.
He was like the god figure.
He wasn't very good at it, though. No. Because there's that scene where she's like, everybody has only been to these 3 places. Everyone's only from 3 places. Everyone met each other like in this
dinner,
way.
And she's like, Frank's fucking lied to us. You think this is all a bit sus, actually? And he's like, you're insane. And everyone's like, yeah, you are insane. And I'm like, yeah, that was a stupid thing to do, like over dinner. Just accuse him like that. Of course they're not going to believe you.
It was just
I just wanted her to be a bit smarter. I wanted her to figure out something a bit more smart in order to take him down.
Lie.
But she never does take him down.
No, because he gets stabbed by the stupid woman.
Which is of no consequence to the movie, really.
Yeah, that is true. It
doesn't
didn't
mean
have to
anything.
happen. Yeah. All I know is that, like, she says something like, it's my turn now or something. So, like, what was Olivia being like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you're going to get a Don't Worry Dolly Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Part 2. Do it, Olivia. I want to see the next one. Ratings?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, I liked it a bit.
That's a good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably watch it again, honestly, but only to laugh at it. Really, and a lot of it's like 2 hours something long.
Is it? I don't think it was that long, to be honest.
Yeah, it's 2 hours long. It says.
Oh.
Would have liked a bit more for it, to be a bit longer, or maybe flesh out more parts, but that's not all we got. There's a good movie in there, but it is also like The Truman Show, but worse. I'll give the good afternoon, darling. Fucking don't worry, darling. 5 out of 5.
We haven't.
Harry Styles out of 10.
Okay, we're gonna rate out of Harry Styles. Okay. Yeah, I think the whole way home, I just kept saying, God, we've been Truman Show, we've been Ready Player One, we've been matrixed. We've been all sorts of shit, and I was like, this has been done before, but in better movies. So I'm just watching Max, and it's like watching a dove trying to
Just
grab
try and
something.
make reviews and not get distracted by the things that are in front of us, like cats and different types of bugs.
Well,
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
yeah, that is a problem for me, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was fun. It was worth my time, but not worth my money. 6 Harry stars out of 10.
Yeah, go see it because it's batshit.
It is. It's fucking weird.
That's why I recommended it to you, Chris. I say you gotta watch this movie.
It's entertaining, like enough, I think.
Yeah, it's an entertaining movie. Cool. We watched some movies, more movies for the pile. We watched horror movies of free for all horror movie special. We all picked horror movies. What do you know? Trick or Treat is the first one. My one was Annihilation, and Darcy picked The House That Jack Built. Take it away, Chris. Tell us what you picked and what's it about and what's all that doing there.
Yeah. So I picked Trick or Treat from 2007, directed by Michael Dougherty. It's an anthology movie all set around just Halloween. The whole thing is set on one Halloween night. It's a bunch of different stories, kind of connected by this little pumpkin boy called Sam. It's like this little kid who has a pumpkin head. He's just there in every story.
He's there, people. Look out for him. He's everywhere.
But yeah, it's just 4 different stories, all lightly interwoven.
Yeah. Whatever. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring and lame.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. Just fine. I don't know. I wasn't scared. I thought some of it was pretty funny, but not enough of it. And I don't know why I needed to be. I was like, when's the next story gonna happen? Because it's all like the same thing. It's just like different tangents of the same story.
Yeah.
But,
I thought it was going to be completely different.
That's fine to do it in that way. But it was also like, some of these I don't care too much about. Like the opening scene was like some guy and like
What, his girlfriend?
his girlfriend. I forget what happened.
Oh, she blew out a pumpkin and it pissed off the little pumpkin boy.
She blew up a pumpkin and
Yeah, she ruins
blew
the Halloween
out.
tradition where you have to keep your pumpkins lit all night, apparently.
I did not
Yeah.
know that was even a thing. I'll be honest.
forgot about that. It was not interesting. The next one was that guy.
The principal guy.
Yeah, played by Dylan Baker, who I actually quite like a lot as an actor, and he plays a creepy dad pretty well.
Mm.
Oh my god, sorry. He was all right. This was probably like maybe the best one, I thought, but like it was also quite short. His part was not that long, I thought.
Yeah,
there's like
compared to everyone else's,
how many
yeah.
are there in this? Like
There's
5 or 4?
Well, there's supposed to be 4.
Yeah, it's 4, not including the opening.
Right. So maybe about half of them I thought were okay. Were pretty good. I like that one, Anna
Sure.
Paquin's one.
Yeah, the weird werewolf one. That was all right. That was kind
The
of
rest
cool.
of them, I don't know. I didn't really care. Well, I guess I had a good laugh about those kids going over into the quarry in the school bus and dying. That was pretty funny. So, but it was only because I made it funny because I was kind of bored. I was like, "What's happening here?" I was like making fun of them, I guess, because they all had like masks on. I was like, drive all these like disabled kids into the rock quarry to kill them.
It was
That's how
pretty
it
mad.
worked.
It's a mad
fuck?
concept though, isn't it? Yeah, you laugh because you're like, what the fuck?
They were too cringe to be alive. We had to go kill them in the rock quarry. It's like,
That is
okay.
literally what you said,
Their
like word
parents
for word.
didn't like want them because they were
Too
disabled or
cringe.
something. Because they were
Yeah.
too cringe.
They were like, he said that they just became too much work and the parents had enough.
Yeah, but like what? The parents have just gone
Bullshit.
to, I'm just going to pay this
Yeah.
man to drive my disabled
Yeah.
child into the ocean. Like,
Great. Foolproof.
It's fucking ridiculous.
And then the other story is just Brian Cox being beaten the shit out of by Sam.
Yeah.
I like Sam. He's cute. He looks like a little Big Planet character. He's very
Sam's cute.
adorable. Yeah.
good costume, I think.
It is.
Yeah, it's very
really,
recognisable,
like,
isn't it? Yeah.
Recognisable.
But
like
fuck, man. Like, whatever. He just goes there and he beats Bryan Singer up and it lasts about 15 minutes.
Bryan Singer, he wishes we get beaten up.
Bryan Singer produced this movie. That card in the title and the credits, that was probably the scariest part.
It was an actual audible scream from Max when it popped up as well.
Oh my god, it's fucking Bryan Singer, the director of X-Men and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Cringe!
Yeah, that was the cringiest part.
Yeah, I picked this movie because I really like it. I think it is very goofy and very silly. It doesn't really take itself seriously. It's not like an amazing movie or anything. It's like a straight-to-video movie, and it does kind of feel quite cheap at points. But I just always have a good time with it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like something that you'd catch on Netflix or something. You know, something that you never see in a cinema because you just wouldn't pay to go and watch it.
It's also like 80 minutes long. It's really short.
Yeah, I appreciate that, to be fair.
I think it is the perfect length. It's like reaches the point where I think it's kind of, if it was any longer, it would have outstayed its welcome a bit.
Yeah, it outstayed its welcome for me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Even though it was really short, and that's saying something, I thought. It's just like a bunch of stuff that I don't really care about, like, that's happening. The old guy, Brian Cox, him getting beaten up, I was like, okay, I get it. Then it keeps happening. Like, he keeps having like a battle with
or like
little,
over
the
and
little
over,
boy.
yeah.
Oh, okay. But how far can you really take that? I don't know. I get it was kind of supposed to be stupid and silly, but like, I can roll with that for a time. I even had a bit of fun with it. But for me, I don't know. I probably wanted a bit more. I liked the stuff with like Anna Paquin and all that, and that story was pretty interesting. And they turn into the werewolves.
That
Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson starts playing.
Yeah.
That transformation sequence is pretty cool. Where they're like getting their nails and literally ripping their skin off, and underneath they're just wolves.
See, I don't know. I thought it served its purpose. I don't know what more you could expect from this. Most horror films I kind of don't expect anything from, because you know that they're just kind of dumb movies. Well, you don't. I don't know. I don't go into films like this and think, God, want something more from that. I just want. Look how fucking dumb this thing is.
It's.
Or you wanted more
fine.
fun
I want
from
dumb
it,
fun,
maybe.
but like a lot of it was not dumb fun for me. I don't think.
Right, he wanted more dumb fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that.
I want it to be sillier.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a bit goofier, but I think it served its purpose. Like, it's that kind of thing that you would just, you know, if you're having a Halloween party and you just want like a background thing.
It's a background.
Yeah.
movie.
It's very, very like, it's kind of like basically the Christmas like movie equivalent of Halloween. It's like, it feels like a Halloween movie. It feels like something that you watch during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can only watch this like during October or like Halloween sort of time, because it just kind of, it's so emblematic of that atmosphere and that feeling of like trick-or-treating and just like all the Halloween decorations and stuff.
That's because that's all it is. It literally is Halloween in a film.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons I like it.
Oh, Halloween used to be a Celtic holiday predating Christianity, and they used human sacrifice for all their stuff that they did in Halloween. I was like, yeah, this used to be a cool holiday, and they sacrificed people, and like the Celts, you tore people apart for it. That was great. Why don't we do that nowadays? I don't know.
Too many human rights. That's what it is.
Too many rights. I want to see people torn apart nowadays. But that was pretty interesting. You don't really. I like delving into like the tradition in that way, you know, and like the exploration of the holiday and what it means, or like at least what it used to mean, and how it's evolved.
Yeah. They do that a little bit with the character of Sam. It kind of seems like he's like the mascot who's going around making sure that all the Halloween traditions are being kept up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about the pumpkin thing. I feel like if Sam was a real little big planet man, I would have got beaten up by him. I didn't know about pumpkins. So you guys know that you have to keep your pumpkins on all night? No?
I don't really do pumpkins though.
You better watch out. It's coming for you.
I don't really do Halloween now.
Oh
Now
no,
that I'm
he's
an
definitely
adult.
coming for you.
Sorry.
You're worse because you're a naysayer.
But I have to like go out and get a pumpkin though.
Yeah, and then you've got to like gut it and then
I've got
carve
to, like,
it.
be
and...
some kind of artist and like draw a
Cut a
face on
triangle.
it. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Apparently, like trying to scoop it out is like worse than actually trying to like
Oh,
carve a
take
face in
ages.
it.
Take ages.
Yeah.
I remember I've
does.
done it a couple of times, and the smell alone makes me gag. Like
I don't want
I
to take hours
can't.
off of my fucking weekend to carve a pumpkin.
Yeah. Why
I'm
can't
not
you just
even
give me a
doing Halloween.
pre-hollowed pumpkin?
I can't go outside and demand sweets from strangers in their homes.
Or just do what I've got. I've got like a light up pumpkin.
It,
like a
it stays there.
plastic
It
one.
is 365. That pumpkin.
Yeah, it's
It's
just in my
that's
room at all
cheating.
points.
You can't
Yeah,
do
it's
that.
just
It's
chilling.
cheating.
Yeah.
It's an insult to the Halloween theme, whatever you call it, tradition. It's an insult.
The theme.
The theme. It's an insult to the theme. Do you like when they were like in that queue? Those girls were in the queue, and there was that guy who was serving them. He like looked at the girl's tits, and he was like, 32 double D, that'll be. And then she's like, "Hi, you want to come out with us?" It was like, that wouldn't fucking happen.
No,
What do
it's
you
because she
mean?
was like, let's get him in and eat him.
Do you know what? In context, it makes
Yeah, I
sense. But
suppose
yeah,
so.
if you're watching it for the first time, me and Maxwell, we were like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about?" Makes sense though.
Yeah, I guess.
Like you got to weed out the stupid dweebos and eat them for the full moon or
I don't eat
whatever.
the incels. Eat them all.
Yeah.
I like that Brian's dog was called Spite.
Yes,
Like,
that
what
was
a
weird.
name.
Yeah.
Why'd you name your dog Spite? It's not even like Spike, like the shitty.
I thought it was Spike at
Whatever.
first.
Yeah, I
Dog's
always
name.
thought it was. I don't think I've ever
No.
watched it with subtitles
There
before.
we go. See what I do for you guys. Spite. What do you want to call him? Oh, give him a proper name so you know what I'm all about. I'm just a very unpleasant person at the end of the day. Call my dog Spite.
Yeah.
Great.
He's a good dog dad, though.
Yeah.
Clearly loves his dog.
He loves old Spite despite his mean disposition. And it
was just a disappointment.
it was kind of disappointing. I don't know. I wanted more from like the cringe humor, or because there is a bit of cringe humor in it. I wanted more from like I guess the spectacle of it and that whole part where they're like in the quarry, and like running away from whatever the fuck. And
The
there's like a
zombie
lift there,
children.
the zombie children.
Oh, the sewage kids. I
Whatever.
completely forgot about all of that. Like that whole story
Run away
bit.
from them, they're too
forgot.
cringy. No. Oh, this is going on forever. I want to see Anna Paquin. This is boring.
It was like they were treating her like she was some sort of like bridge troll or something. Like, oh my god, I can't believe you've never had sex with someone before.
She's a
And-
virgin.
and it's like-
Ugh.
And they're like,
But in
oh,
reality, it's that she's never eaten someone before.
Yeah.
And also, she's a virgin.
But she was fine. She was pretty good. as good as you can be, I guess, with a movie
film
like this. It's just
yeah.
kind of not taking itself seriously is all.
Yeah, I feel like all the actors are having a good time in it. None
Oh,
of them
yeah.
are like taking it seriously or
mhm.
I don't
trying
think you
super hard.
can. I feel like,
They know what they're making.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just.
And I feel like if they were trying really hard or were taking it seriously, the film's tone would have just not worked.
No, sure. You got that kid
Yeah.
who like throws up and dies at the beginning when they're
Oh,
doing bakers.
chocolate milk boy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
The one that's in Bad Santa.
you're a fat little boy, aren't you? And he's like,
that was funny.
Literally looked like chocolate milk. Just, it was just insane.
I
like
think they
his insides
hosed
being
him. They got like the
liquidated.
hose for
Mm.
that. I think you
Yeah.
can't carry that much in your mouth. Can you?
No, I don't think so.
I appreciate that more than like just holding a bunch of liquid in your mouth and going. Pleh.
I liked the reveal of like him and his son carving that kid's head as a pumpkin.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, I
pretty
thought he was
fucked
gonna
up
like. I
reveal.
thought he like literally like jilted a knife in his own son, and he's like,
Yeah.
but I
I
thought
think
he
it's
did, like he was
fun,
burying the kid.
That's what I thought. I was confused.
He might have just been burying someone else. Who knows?
Some rando,
Yeah,
some other rando.
what a nut.
He killed and put it in his back garden.
That's exactly what.
Oh
he
yeah,
did.
you couldn't get it. Other people get stabbed in this, and it's like it's just Halloween. She's drunk. She's fucking drunk. But she's what is it? Allie. I only remember her name.
Oh, they were
'cause she was
kissing in an
stabbed
alley,
in an
and her name was
alley.
Ali.
by fucking Tom Cruise from Eyes Wide Shut.
Because everyone's
she's
all like
"Ah, fuck, I'm
mysterious.
bleeding, and everyone's like, she's wasted. And yeah, it's probably the only day of the year you get away with murder
Yeah.
because that's
just
what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone's just covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? No one knows if it's real or not.
Ah, help me! I've been stabbed for fucking real! Ah!
And they're like, oh my god, you're such a good actor.
It's crazy.
You'd have thought that they would like known something was off, considering she just like slumps to the floor
No.
and like her eyes are wide open. She doesn't blink.
She's wasted, man. Like, it's just how people. It's just how drunk people are.
Yeah, sleeping with her eyes open.
That's how it works.
She has to know what's coming
Yeah.
at her. Keep all avenues, all alleys
Yeah, always aware
focused.
at all times.
Like Mermaid Man.
Yes, just like Mermaid Man.
He sleeps with his eyes open.
What, the
So he's always ready for crime.
Yeah,
the cartoon Mermaid Man?
yeah.
The
Don't
one
you
and
remember
only.
that episode where he like he's asleep and he's just got his eyes
yeah,
open?
no, I think I do. I was just making sure that we are talking about the Mermaid Man.
The one and only.
There's only one Mermaid Man.
That was like almost Mermaid Man. That voice was nearly there. But the thing is, there probably will be people, if they ever listen to this, that will probably think, "Who the fuck is Mermaid Man?"
That's not true.
No, I think someone might ask, "Who the fuck is Mermaid Man?"
Mermaid Man is an icon.
He is an icon with a starfish nose, or is a starfish on his nose?
On his nose.
It's part of him.
See, I couldn't tell you. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never seen him without his little
It's
starfish.
just what happens when you
Yeah.
scrape away his skin. He is revealed.
Oh god, he is one with the starfish.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to
Yeah.
say about this movie. To be honest, it's just dumb fun, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I picked it. It's just a simple, fun little watch. I wanted to pick something else, but then Darcy decided to pick a 2.5 hour movie, so I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to pick something short.
What were you going to pick? If you can tell us.
I was originally going to pick Audition, but that's like 2
okay.
hours long.
Oh well, maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Stay tuned for that one.
There's been like rumors of like a sequel for this, like being in development for years. I know the director was trying really hard for ages to get it made, but it just never happened because no one would give him the budget for it.
Yeah, but we can't watch it on here until there's 3 of them. So, and you
Yeah.
haven't even got a second one yet.
Well, we've
so
watched this one, so even if it does become a trilogy, we can't do it again.
No, we fucked it.
Yeah. Even this one, it took ages to get out because they like filmed it and finished it. It was meant to have a theatrical release, and then Warner Brothers shelved it for like a year or two, and then we're eventually like, yeah, we'll just shit this onto DVD.
Yeah. Sometimes that's how it goes, hey.
Yeah.
That is
Hey,
how it
at least
be.
we watched it and we all had a time.
Yeah.
Ratings?
Sure. What should we rate it out
Brian Singers.
of? Okay. Yeah, I really like this movie. It's been like a Halloween tradition to watch. I've not done it, I think, the last couple of years, but there was a good period of like almost 10 years where literally every single October I watched it on like the beginning of the month because it's just like always such a fun movie. It just gets me in the Halloween spirit. I give it 7 Brian Singers out of 10.
Nice. Yeah. It's an okay movie. It's pretty fun in parts. For my own personal taste, not really for me. But I watched it. I'm glad I watched it, but so I don't know. It's fine. It's just a fine movie. It's inoffensive and it does what it wants to do, so you can't really fault it for that. It's just trying to have a bit of fun. I'll probably give it 5 Brian Singers out of 10.
Dumb, goofy fun, but not fun enough. 6. Say Brian Singers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Don't like that. But fine. 6 Brian Singers out of 10. He doesn't deserve this platform.
He's a funny guy. He's a funny...
Did we rate one of the X-Men movies out of him as well?
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, he seems to be a hot topic. No.
Anyway, we could sit here and debate Brian Singer all day, but we've got another movie to talk about. My movie that I picked, we watched on glorious 4K resolution from 2018, directed by Alex Garland, called Annihilation. It's about
What the fuck is going on? Ah! Ah!
Lena is there. She has not seen her husband, who was missing in action from a remote secret ops mission for a year. She's like, fuck, he will come back soon. And I was like, Lena, you gotta get over him. He's gone. And then he comes back. What the fuck? And then he starts going into fucking anaphylactic shock. They take him into an ambulance. The ambulance gets fucking railroaded. And then she gets taken to a secret military base where she's introduced to a host of characters and also the primary threat of this movie, the Shimmer. It's a massive fucking wall that looks like weird oil.
It looks like a bubble.
It is expanding. They say in maybe a few months' time it will have consumed the world. It is originated from a comet that smacked into a fucking lighthouse and grew from the inside the lighthouse outwards to consume. And they have to go into this Shimmer. Lena wants to find a cure for her husband going into fucking organ failure. She goes with her team to find the truth. This is a movie that went straight to Netflix in the UK, and I kind of think that was kind of a shame.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake, you bastards. You fucked us. This is a great fucking movie. It's so fucking good. I love it. I've seen it maybe a couple of times before, but this is the first time I'm seeing it in 4K. I only saw it in on Netflix. It's just put there. It seems very inspired by like something like Stalker, I think. It's one of the great sci-fi movies, I think, this time around. I thought, actually, yeah, it's kind of a masterpiece, and it's probably Alex Garland's best work for my tastes. But yeah, what do we all think of Annihilation? And have we seen it before?
Yeah, it's a great movie. I saw it a couple of years ago, also on Netflix. It was nice getting to see it in 4K. It looks beautiful.
Lovely.
It's a
looking
really,
movie.
really great looking movie. I feel like Netflix just, the colours don't look quite as vibrant.
They're very
just-
desaturated on
yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Is that actually? Do you know what? I'm gonna because we always have this discussion about how I don't know shit about 4K. I don't even know we watched it in 4K. But there you go. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna find it on Netflix and I'm gonna tell you whether it's just as bright, because this film was like watching acid.
It's like
it was
going
sick.
through a kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it was like just colours
horror.
everywhere. Like it was just. If you thought you saw a bright green, you haven't seen a bright green until you've seen this movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have not seen colours this shade before. Fucking crazy.
It was like a restoration, except like it came out 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was mad.
You don't even need to do that. But
I actually thought it had come out in the cinema. I don't know why. Obviously, you said that it came out in America, but there was something about it. Like maybe it was just like the posters and stuff. I swear I'd like seen it around somewhere, it was out somewhere.
It was supposed to be like get a theatrical release, and I think a month or two before its release, it got cancelled and put to Netflix instead.
That is a shame.
It's possible you did see like advertisements and stuff for it when it was meant to come out, but obviously,
because like, could you imagine that on like a screen about the same size as like a fucking billboard?
Yeah,
that would have been
yourself.
insane. Yeah, you'd literally lose your fucking mind.
This movie's it's quite calm. It's not really traditional horror in terms of like its jump scare factor or like visceral kind of horror as we know it in like you can compare it to like
to some aspect.
The old horror movie, or like slashers, or like The Exorcist, or something. It's not really like that. It's more about, I think the horror is kind of derived from the atmosphere that it's setting, and like it's very creepy, and I prefer a horror movie that kind of sets an atmosphere, and you are just left to sit in that atmosphere because it's so immersive, and that's where the horror comes from. You can't like escape it with a jump scare because they're in it all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a slow burner. You kind of just, it moves at a fairly slow pace. You're just kind of like there to stew in it. Yeah, I think that makes it more effective.
It was kind of strange actually, because I obviously didn't really know anything about the movie anyway. But then we were like, oh, Max has picked this movie, and I was like, I thought this was just like a sci-fi movie. I don't understand how this is going to be a thing. And then like for a little while, I was like, okay, come on then.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, it was like, Jesus. It was almost like psychological torture rather than like actual like body horror. Like I'm used to like, you know, when people say about like horror movies, they think of like Hostel and like Saw, the kind of like gross shit. But this was like, oh god, this was like, yeah, literally psychological warfare. Like you didn't know what was real, what wasn't real. You were questioning everything all the time. It was
plays
crazy.
on the fear of the unknown.
I think that's what it is, uncertainty and stuff. And they're like,
what's this place?
Yeah.
What can it do, or what's it trying to do, and does it have motivation? Is there something at the center of it all that wants something? Is it inherently antagonistic, or is it something else? I felt like it was just a thing. It was just like,
or just something
an
existing.
organism. I think there was a reason why Lena was a biologist, but I think it's just down to like biology and how it impregnates the world with what it is, and like it's just trying to make a copy of the world, but it can't really get the world right. It's but it's like slowly consuming it until like it turns everything
into something
I think
else.
The closer they get to the lighthouse, which is their primary objective, the more abstract things become, and how like trees are made of crystal when they get to the lighthouse, and like there's a bear that's fucking like a weird kind of skeletal thing, or like a hound,
like
sort of. You don't really know what it is or like what it's trying to be. There's like an albino crocodile, and the plants are like mimicking gene sequences of human beings to like grow in such a way as they look like humans. So I don't think that it's an inherently antagonistic force. I just think it's there.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't think it has much of a conscience. It's like, I think the whole movie is really a lot to do with like nature and how like we took advantage of nature and how it was trying to like reclaim itself in a way.
Do you know what? I was
definitely.
literally just about to say that. I was literally thinking, like, I was sitting on the toilet writing my notes, as I do sometimes, and I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like a commentary about how like one day all the people will be gone and nature will claim back the stuff that the humans have fucked up, because we constantly like tearing down like the rainforests and shit, and Mother Nature's like, I'm fucking coming back with a vengeance. And I thought, do you know what? Fair enough. Because I like that kind of commentary, because obviously there are a lot of things that humans should just leave alone and let nature kind of take its course, because otherwise we're going to end up like, what? We already GMO like carrots, so they're not purple anymore. You know what I mean? Like we just keep fucking shit up. And I want nature to come back and be like, no, this ain't your time.
And we're going to keep fucking it up until we're all dead.
Yeah. I think humans are their worst detriment to themselves, really.
Just watch any David Attenborough documentary and it's basically like watching Annihilation.
But in real life.
In real life. Yeah. It's like watching that in reverse or something. It's crazy.
It's so
I do
sad.
love seeing like all these like creations that this thing's made, where
it's cool.
It's kind of like blending other animals together, blending like humans with like plants and stuff into this really weird looking thing. It's like really unique. I think I've not really seen anything that looks like this, and I think it just looks so incredible.
It's quite a funky idea, isn't it? When you go down there, like, they're scrambling the DNA, and everyone's like, what does that mean? It's like, we're being scrambled.
Yeah, and they do it in like such a like uncanny valley, like really creepy way, like really simple things that you wouldn't think would be that like eerie or creepy to look at can sometimes be terrifying in the movie, like the bit where they cut that person open and like all his intestines are like ropes or like tubes or something, like
they're just moving around.
Yeah, what were they even meant to be? Because I'm pretty sure your intestines kind of like move anyway, but this was like, I don't even know what to say. It looked like a snake. Yeah, that's the closest thing I could think of. It was like a snake.
It was filmed brilliantly as well. It was just like they're watching it on a video camera.
Yeah,
There
it
was
was
just like
crazy.
one like torch they've got in there, and they're like in a swimming pool or whatever, and like, they're cutting
Mm.
him open, and the music is going like. It's very subtle, the use of music as well. It was like a lot of acoustic guitar, which I quite liked, especially in like a sci-fi kind of movie where like you almost expect it to be a bit more digital, but
Yeah.
with the
Bit more
acoustic
like
guitar, it's a
bleep,
lot
blop,
more
beep.
analog. But I quite
Mm.
like that to juxtapose the sci-fi and also kind of blend in with the nature element of it. But that scene was fucking insane, and they don't like really. No one's like, oh my god, what the fuck? They're just like, oh, what the fuck? That wasn't real. And then like go about like their business. It was like it was
Yeah.
crazy.
You also got that like, is it like a boar or something? That creature that's like, it screams a human screams.
That
Mhm.
was quite possibly the worst scene of the whole
it's
film,
like-
and I don't.
it's horrible
yeah,
to
like-
watch.
Like I was just turning around constantly. Like, is anyone else watching this
Mhm.
fucking
Yeah, it's because
like boar thing?
three of them are taped to a chair and they're trying to be silent so this like boar creature doesn't attack them
But
because
it's-
it like can't see
But
them.
it's the screams of their dead friend, isn't it? Which is
Yeah.
like even
That's
worse.
how it lures
yeah,
them in. If they think
that she's in
their
trouble.
friends
yeah.
are alive, they'll go to the boar or the bear or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, and that's how they like it eats you sort of, and it uses your last like screams of fucking
As
horror
like a
to
calling,
lure
I
other
guess.
people in. And when it comes in and like gets them or whatever, it was the most insane thing. It's one of the most terrifying and insane scenes in any movie I've
Yeah.
ever
It
seen.
was so unhinged. Like I just felt like, you know, like you just can't breathe. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
what
I
the
compared
fuck?
it to Max when we were watching it to the scene in The Thing where they're like testing each other's blood to see which one of them's infected.
Yeah.
Which
It's,
is like,
yeah.
yeah, it's just equally as tense. You're just like kind of, you're sat there, you know something's going to happen, but it's just so like silent and
Yeah.
eerie and you're just waiting for it. It's just,
It doesn't kill him
it's
straight away. It's
horrible.
just like sniffing around. It's like, what the fuck's this? Because
Mm.
they can't really see. It's like mostly doing things on smell. It's got like half its skull exposed, and
Because it probably doesn't really have eyes, does it? To be
she's
honest?
got like these people, these women just like weeping as they're tied to the chairs. What the fuck? It like tears Gina's jaw off, like, and you just see it. It's fucking insane.
it's horrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff
Oh
was just
man.
disgusting as well. Like, yeah, it's not even the fact that it was terrifying; it was also just disgusting. Just like, ugh.
yeah, there's one sequence in the movie that always just like, it really fucking terrifies me. It's the scene where she like goes into the lighthouse
Mhm.
and it's just like a completely blank creature that like starts replicating everything she does, like starts replicating like her emotions and how she would react to things and like moving around like she would. It's just, I don't know what it is about that scene, it just fucking freaks me out.
It is really weird. But
I
like,
think
the,
the music has a big impact on that because it's
Mhm.
like, it's really like synth heavy and it's really glitchy and weird, but it's like,
Yeah.
see
it adds
now,
this really horrible feeling.
see now that makes sense, right? We're you know, we're listening to like every time like the little alien thing took a step, it'd be like, "Eh." But like
Yeah.
in Don't Worry Darling, they were trying to do something similar, but it just wasn't working. It just didn't
Yeah.
have the same vibe.
Well, I mean, these are geniuses. The score was by Ben Salisbury and Jeff Barrow, and I just think they do a fantastic job
That
with
was
it. Ben
fucking
Salisbury also
crazy.
did the score for Men as well, which I also really liked.
Yeah, and Jeff
Um,
Barrow is a member of Portishead, who are one of my favourite bands.
So there we
Ugh.
go. Yeah, it's really great. It's stuff that I just haven't heard before. Like, they were able to create such weird and interesting sounds. I hesitate to even fucking mimic it, but it's like really like low or kind of
It was almost
Weird.
like,
techno sounds.
yeah, it's
But,
hard
like-
to explain what it is. It sounds almost like feedback, kind of. It's like,
But I mean,
so hard
yeah.
to describe.
And I love that scene where they're like mirroring each other. That whole mirror scene is also one of the most insane fucking sequences I've ever seen in any movie. You would expect it to be like
Yeah,
this malevolent force, but it's really
it's
not.
kind of gentle.
It's only just trying to mimic her, and because that's what it sees. and
Yeah.
it's trying
Yeah.
to be it's trying to create the world in its own image, sort of thing. But the fact that she was kind of harmed by it was only a result of her trying to harm it. You know,
Yeah.
if it hit her, it was only because she was going to hit it.
Yeah.
If she tried to escape through the door, it like pushed itself up against her because it was also trying to get out of the door, and she can't get out if it's also trying to get out at the same time. So it's like pushing itself up against her and like suffocating her.
Yeah, it kind of feels like its own commentary there, doesn't it, really?
Mhm. We do it to ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Or that, your actions reflect other people's actions, I guess. It's kind of like, the eye for an eye kind of thing. But sometimes, I don't know, it kind of works, I guess.
It was also a really great reveal that like Kane, her husband, had actually died in the shimmer. And what came back was just what was supposed to happen to her, and the shimmer mimicked him.
Yeah, and then became.
And then like he made friends with the shimmer version of himself, and because he was really too far gone and very fucked up psychologically, I guess he decided to kill himself and told the shimmer version of himself to go back for Lena. It's fucking crazy.
That was just.
And then there's like
mad.
obviously the great ending where like she goes back and speaks to him, and she's like, "Are you really him?" And he's like, "I don't think so. Are you really her?" And she's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that kind of thing would kind of mess you up, I guess. Like,
his eyes have got like a shimmer.
Oh
to
yeah,
them when
hers
he
were
hugs her,
doing it
but
as
hers
well.
were
Though,
kind
at
of
the
doing
end
that
of
as
it,
well. But I thought,
was that a connection thing?
I don't know if I thought that she had. I thought it was still her and
Yeah, I
not a
thought it
shimmer
was.
version of herself.
Yeah.
But I thought because her like blood was like doing things and like duplicating, like there's a lot of like duplication in the movie as well.
Oh, yeah, like did
like
she?
I just thought that it had gotten into her in such a way that it made her eyes kind
Yeah.
of do that.
Oh.
I think probably,
Mm.
I think it's like a really ambiguous, like interesting ending.
but I love like how she kind of hands the shimmer version of herself, who's trying to become her, this like flash grenade, and just like it explodes itself.
That was
She
pretty
does it in a
sad.
very
Yeah.
calm way and just like hands it like, "Here, have this," and it just grabs it and then she pulls it and then runs away.
That's sad. That
I
was
think,
sad.
yeah, that was sad actually. Oh,
I
fuck.
felt really bad for the little alien creature blob.
You could make a case that it's
thing.
just like kind of a hive mind type thing, where it's all trying to do the same thing in tandem, but like
Yeah.
also if it's trying to duplicate individual conscience,
Mm.
that's something that it could do as well.
Well,
And
yeah,
so
I guess it makes sense.
basically she did kill it, and it was like
Yeah. That
an
was sad.
infant or something. You could liken it to like a newborn, I suppose. It's just trying to learn the world.
Yeah, I felt bad.
Fuck.
Who would have thought you'd feel bad for a little
Yeah.
alien? But there you go.
They ET'd us. I thought the squad like stopping the ambulance in the beginning was fucking insane, especially with all the music going on, where like Kane's like and fucking just spitting out a load of
Oh,
blood, and they're like, "We
right,
got to get
yeah,
him to the
yeah.
hospital." And like, I didn't really remember this part, but like they get stopped by the SWAT team because they know like he's been in the shimmer, and they have to like take him to the headquarters to revive him or whatever. That was so good and such a brilliant use of music, and like it was like a
Yeah.
genuine fucking chase scene that only lasts for about 2 minutes, but it was really well directed. The whole movie is fucking amazing, immaculately directed.
Yeah,
I
there's
think.
a lot of madness in this movie, but none of it's bad.
No, you realise that when she interrogates Kane when he comes home, he's like very off with her, and I thought initially, oh, he's probably got like PTSD or something from that fucking mission, but
Just turns out he doesn't even know anything.
he's giving the sort of same answers to her that she was giving Benedict Wong at the beginning when she comes back, and he's like, "What the fuck happened in there then?" She was like, "I don't know. They lose a lot of time in there. So like when you're introduced to them, when they get into the shimmer, it's been about 4 days and they don't remember any of that."
Yeah, and they say, "How is it
Yeah.
possible?"
There's a great fucking first line to this movie where Benedict Wong just goes, "What did you eat?" I'm like, that's insane.
Oh.
What did they eat? They don't know. Who knows? Maybe they didn't need to eat or whatever, or maybe they go on about like aging is a fault in our genes. So if maybe the shimmer was trying to create the world
like
but
an
make it better
immortal
and make people
thing.
immortal if it's just like a fault, and it could make it better.
Because
If
they wouldn't need
they-
to eat, would
If
they?
they
'Cause they'd
didn't
have
need,
to
you don't need to eat
sustain
if you're immortal.
themselves.
So
Yeah,
maybe that's
makes
what
sense.
that is. I don't know. That's crazy.
I mean, I guess that is something up to interpretation, but it would make
But
sense
that-
though, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, that introduction is one of my favorite introductions in any movie. I think it's very quiet. It's like, oh, what happened to the other people?
Mm.
She was like, I don't know, dead. I don't know. And then it just like cuts to the comet going into the lighthouse, and then it comes up with a title card. It's so great. It's so good. It never like has to resort to anything super bombastic or like super over the top. It trusts that it's got a good concept to run with, and I think they execute it just in a very interesting way. And it's
Yeah.
like this is what the movie, like, you go to the Annihilation probably first and foremost to see some weird shit, and it delivers on the weird shit. I
It
think
really does. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
like nothing you see in a movie, really.
yeah.
Yeah, you compared it earlier to Stalker Max. And I think
Mhm.
that's a really good comparison because it is just that
Go into
film's
the
like,
zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That film's like very, very subdued, slow moving, but it has this like really strong atmosphere where you don't really understand what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen. You
Mhm.
feel like at any point the film could just snap and some crazy shit could go down. And that's
Mhm.
kind of how I feel during this as well. It's just kind of every scene you're constantly on edge waiting for something to happen.
It's very Alien
Yeah.
Stalker as well, and I guess this is like literally Alien, but I think it does also goes for some of the same sort of themes as Stalker, I think, and it is taking a lot from that. I mean, it's hard not to when you're doing something like this.
Yeah, of course.
But I also liked like a lot of the set design or whatever they were able to do with all the different colors, and like the flowers looked amazing. There was like the scene where they go into the pool, the empty pool, and there was like a guy who had been overtaken by vegetation, so all like the flowers were growing out of him. His jaw had been like dislocated and snapped like really far down him. That all looked amazing. I think a lot of it was probably practical. There's obviously a lot of CG in it because it's hard not to. There's always like a shimmer to the shimmer that they probably have to put in there. It's like what Chaos Walking tried to do, I suppose, with its noise element, but it didn't quite pull off. I think this is like a prime example of like masterclass science fiction filmmaking. It's like one of the best ones that's been made in recent years, I think.
Yeah, I liked it
Yeah,
a lot.
definitely.
It kind of, I don't know, it gave me like the classic horror, like Alien vibe,
Yeah,
but more.
it's a weird movie. You want to be scared by something you don't understand, and because the characters don't really understand what's happening, means you don't understand what's happening, and that makes it inherently more interesting or fearful. I think it's never a movie that you go ow, ah. Sometimes, but
Yeah.
mostly it's just like something that leaves you with a fear, like an instinctual kind of
Yeah, this
dread.
is that psychological torture that I'm talking about. It is literally just it's just constant mind fucking all the time, which is like slightly, I would say, worse than like just watching someone get like their legs and stuff hacked off, because it's like, I don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You also don't know how other different people are going to react to the shimmer, because a lot of them are disposed of in different ways. There's like, I don't know, one of them was killed by the bear creature. Another one was killed by the bear creature. There was one, Josie, I think played by Tessa Thompson, who just kind of like plants start growing from her skin, and she
Yeah, what does she do? She just become
like,
a
walks
tree?
away.
Like, what happened to her?
And
Like,
Lena goes, where
never saw her
did my
again?
friend go? And then like she's just not there.
Yeah.
But it shows like a bunch of like tree people.
yeah,
So
maybe she
you
became a tree
Kind of
person.
think maybe I thought that she was more accepting of the shimmer, whereas a lot of the other people weren't, and the project was basically try to stop it from consuming the world, when maybe that's
Yeah.
not inherently a bad thing if you are able to live in tandem with it.
Yeah, which I guess kind of makes sense. But then I guess a lot of people also don't want to become part tree.
I mean, that's part of the commentary, though, right? If it consumed the whole world, we wouldn't really need skyscrapers or anything. It's like a self-sustaining ecosystem, and we all are in that together. And some people
possibly.
will turn into flowers if they want, or like, I guess is what you take from it. That's kind of what the movie is.
Maybe.
It's like, is it a malignant type of force, or is it just
I just thought it was just
what
chilling,
we've been
you know?
fighting forever and
Yeah.
trying to stop nature and trying to carve our own space as human beings, when inevitably it's all going to
Go back.
come back in the
yeah.
end in this cycle.
Yeah, because that's what they say, isn't it? Like when all, like once again, when all the humans are gone, nature's just gonna.
Is that maybe why they
Keep on
got like those
tracking.
tattoos that kind of
They look like snakes.
impressed themselves on them? It was like a kind of figure of 8 type
Yeah.
of tattoo that kind of moved
I
around.
swear she didn't have that. I swear one of the others did, and then it just like.
She had it in the beginning when she was being questioned because it imprinted
Yeah.
on her
Yeah, that's
while
what I
they
thought.
were
But
there.
was it
a
from
lot
someone
of the
else?
others got that as well.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I thought one of the others had it, and then because obviously they were all
Yeah.
like merging together,
And that was in
she
like an
was growing
infinity
them,
kind
yeah.
of figure of 8 symbol where it was like
Yeah, like some
turning
snaky
around
thing,
them.
Yeah.
And that kind of feeds into like that cyclical theme as well.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed it, but I didn't bring it up. I was like, she never had that tattoo before, I swear. And then like, yeah.
Mhm.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun themes.
Fun themes.
Fun
Also liked
themes.
Jennifer Jason Leigh a lot
Yeah, she was
Oh,
good.
as Dr. Ventress.
She was great.
Sick name, Dr. Ventress.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like very like subdued, I think, in the movie, which I really like.
Mm.
Kind of has a very like calm sort of attitude.
You don't
Yeah.
know what happens to her either,
No.
which I quite like.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm going to go on my own. Who knows what happens to her? I guess it doesn't really matter.
I mean,
A lot of people are trying to like go out on their own and do, like, trying to make something for themselves,
yeah,
or
but
like
didn't
trying
she
to.
just like,
There's been 100 of these types of people.
I don't know. Did she just not become like a? I don't
Tree?
fucking know. No,
I don't think she
ju-
did, because she was
just-
trying to
she just-
stop the shimmer
Yeah,
she was trying to
she's just
stop it.
like
and like put an end to it.
she just became particles. She was like glitter by the end of it. It was
Well, my theory
Crazy.
is that ultimately you can't fight nature, and
Yeah, she went
probably
back
she
to the
didn't get
earth.
to the lighthouse. I mean, she didn't get to the lighthouse; it all burned. I don't know if they go into like if it's gone. Is it gone at the end? I think it
there
is.
is something though, isn't there?
I think they say that it's like gone or whatever. If it's gone, then that's probably a commentary about how we fear the unknown and we'll kill it if it tries to like make contact with us, I suppose.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
like the
it's,
fatal flaw of
well, it's-
humanity.
yeah, it's like human nature to just kind of
It's not really to
spark straight
adapt,
away,
but
innit?
it's to
Yeah.
conquer, you know. Yeah.
kill it before it kills you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Good movie. Should we go on to ratings?
Sure.
Yeah. What are we going to rate it out of?
Let's just do it out of shimmers.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I really, really like this movie. It's definitely my favorite Alex Garland movie. It's apparently based on a book, so I'd be interested to read that and see how it compares. I think
Mhm.
Alex Garland said he read the book years ago and kind of wrote the film like from what he remembered from it rather than rereading it.
That's
There was
cool.
2 other books as well, obviously set afterwards, so I'd be interested to
Mm.
see what they do. But yeah, really love this movie. It's a great one. I give it 9 shimmers out of 10.
It is a great one. One of the great science fiction movies, one of the great horror movies, I think. It's also telling that it's called Annihilation because of humanity and its inherent need or like want to annihilate, I suppose. I don't think the annihilation was about the shimmer taking over. I think it was more about humanity conquering what they do not understand. Brilliant movie. Love it so much. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it on this go round, but it did look fucking phenomenal on 4K. I'll give it 10 shimmers out of 10.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think back on most when I'm thinking about this film is that badass like monologue thing that the doctor has, and then she just is like annihilation. She's just like bursts into dust. She becomes a glitter person. It's fucking sick. 9 shimmers out of 10.
Cool.
I do like her. She's pretty good. I was like,
Natalie Portman.
yeah, no,
What?
Tessa Thompson,
no. What's the doctor's name? What's that?
Jennifer Jason
That's
Leigh.
the one. Yeah, she was in Atypical, and I was like scraping the fucking corners of my brain, like, where the fuck do I know her from? I was like, oh, she's that
Yeah,
mum from
she's really
Atypical.
I also really like Natalie Portman. I think she's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah, she's really good in this.
She's great in everything she's been in, to be fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's just one of those people.
One of those.
Yeah. And good old Oscar Isaacs, as per usual. Although watching him kill himself was a bit daunting.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah.
I love him.
So now we get on to the movie of movies, the movie to end all movie marathons.
What did you pick?
The House That Jack Built by
Say
Lars
it with
von
more
Trier.
passion, please.
Did I say that with my chest? I'm like reading the synopsis here, and I still don't know what happened. It's about a guy called Jack.
Yeah, baby.
He's a failed architect, and he tells this geezer about all these murders that he's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much
See,
the
the
whole
murders
movie.
being committed. What is it? 5 random incidents over 12 years, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one who's seen it before.
Yeah, I'd never watched it.
It's okay. So Lars von Trier joint, who is a bit of hit or miss for me.
Yeah, same.
I don't
Yeah.
think I like him. I don't think I've really liked anything he's done except, what was that one film?
Breaking the Waves.
No, I didn't like that either.
Did you know?
No, I think it was Antichrist was the only one that I didn't not like, but I also didn't like it.
Wow.
I don't like him.
That's quite the movie.
I don't like him though, so that's...
Antichrist is quite the movie to be
It
like...
is.
I don't know. Maybe I liked it.
No, but I mean in terms of like the ones
That's
that
not
I've
really
seen...
a middle of the road type movie, I don't think.
No, but I think that was the only one that I was kind of like... Not drawn to, but like it was the only one that kept me like there. Like this film, I thought it would, because this film seemed like well up my street. And then like about 20 minutes in, I was like, fuck me, this film's boring the shit out of me. Like there's actually Max took a lovely photo of me at one point. He's talking about fermenting fucking grapes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I literally have my hoodie over my face because I want it to finish. I want it to be over.
It's like the epitome of Lars von Trier
Yeah.
and what he wants to make, you know,
Boring
and that comes
shit.
with the good and the bad, I think.
Yeah,
and
I feel
also
like
the annoying.
This has his best and worst qualities as a filmmaker. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on, I think, especially like towards the end where they're like linking it into like the idea of hell and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's easily his most egotistical movie he's ever made. I mean, there's literally a sequence in the movie where he just shows a bunch of clips from his own movies. There's like a montage of just like...
That's how you
all
avoid
his
copyright
movies.
though, right?
Nah, it's pretentious bullshit.
It is.
It was pretentious bullshit.
I like the art stuff though, like all the art references and things, like all those like horrible scenes,
Wow.
like with the pie and stuff. But then he's like making artworks out of like out of dead people.
Yeah,
But like
no,
I
that
like
was
the
cool.
art stuff. The art stuff was cool, but
it was all art
pretentious.
stuff.
Yeah, that's what the
this
film's
is about art.
No, I mean like the actual, like when they actually talk about like the actual artworks, not him being oh, I'm the poor architect that never quite made it, so I had to murder instead. Like it's that boring trope of the suffering artist over and over again.
So it's really about
Yeah, that's what it's about.
censorship and von Trier, I think himself is just about him.
Yeah.
It's so much his movie. I think he's having a lot of fun with it.
He's the only one having fun. I fucking
It's very
hated
over
it.
the top and gruesome and fucking just like a lot of killing, and he thinks it's art that he kills people, and he thinks it's
Yeah.
art, and I guess he's a provocateur, von Trier, and I've said it before, but this is definitely a provocative movie. It's I think it has its good qualities. It also has a lot of bad qualities, and I think I fall somewhere in the middle with it. I quite liked it the first time I watched it, but this time around I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, I just think he's trying to make something very profound, but it doesn't quite hit the nail. It's also a comedy, and sometimes it's funny, but as it progressed, I was like, oh, I kind of want it to be over now because it's very long. It's a very long movie. I think like the most fun I had was like at the beginning when he killed Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
That was funny. And she was like, "Oh,
that was great. You
maybe." She's like asking him for help, and he's like,
You could be a fucking killer, or you could be a serial killer. No, you're not gonna kill me.
"You're too much of a wimp to kill me," and he fucking jacks her in the face with that car jack. That was pretty funny.
I like that a lot because what was it? The second after it happened, I went, "Oh, she was pretty annoying." To be fair,
He like has to drive her to the mechanic and then drive her back to her car, and then she's like, "Drive me back to the mechanic" or whatever. And then it's just like, oh, fuck this.
I like the fact that he was nice enough to do it, and then she pushed it too far, and he was like, "Do you know what?"
You don't treat somebody who's doing like you a favor and just like call them a serial killer the whole time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What did you think
and then insult them like, oh, I mean, obviously being called a serial killer is pretty mean, but then to be like, oh, you look weird, you a wimp, you're all this, and it's like, and you were shocked that.
He's also got like OCD as well. I think they play with that pretty well.
Yeah.
With it. It's quite funny the way they do that in like the second incident where he's like
That was funny.
constantly going back to the scene of the crime and like adjusting things or whatever. So he thinks like maybe there's blood here or maybe there's blood there or something at a place here. That was pretty funny.
I think that did go on quite a long time though.
It went on for way too long, and that's like a major criticism I have of the movie. Is like,
yeah, same.
It's like 5 incidents. So you think like maybe you could anthology it, or you could make them just a bit shorter. I don't know. I think he stays at that woman's house for way too long. He talks to her for way too long.
He goes
like,
back in there
there's
too
a bit
many
of cringe
times.
humor where he's trying to act like he's a police officer and trying to get in her house. That was pretty funny, and it just keeps going on. I don't know. It kind of bored me.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It feels like it was telling a joke, and then it was like, "Hey, that joke I just told, I'm going to tell it 6 more times." Yeah, and then it loses you because of that. And you're like, "Oh, it was funny the first time," and I'm like, "Oh god." And that's how this whole film felt to me. Was just, "Oh, it was good the first." Oh god.
It's a film that I think someone really needed to stand over Lars von Trier and go, okay, yeah, that's cool. You can cut this down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even edit it, which I was actually shocked to just find out because it feels very much like a director's sort of.
Yeah, you guys were convinced
edit.
it was him, right?
Because it's so excessive. Everything goes on way too long. There's so much fat that easily could have been trimmed. I think there is like a really, really great movie in this movie if it like had at least like 30, 45 minutes cut out of it. There's so many sequences that just don't need to be there. So much of it that just could have easily been trimmed down. I don't really think like the sequences where he's talking about fermenting grapes and like showing Holocaust footage and like talking about like films and obviously showing Lars von Trier's own movies. I don't think any of those are needed, but I think pretty much all of like the incidents that he shows, there's a lot of like really disturbing, horrifying stuff in there. And I think the message about, you know, the tortured artist and kind of like the parallels between violence and art and how we consume like violent media and stuff, I think all of that's really interesting.
I think so too, yeah. I do have fun with it. And it's funny that he included all that Nazi stuff. I don't know, especially when what he said at Cannes that one time.
I feel like he definitely did that
definitely
on purpose.
Yeah.
It's definitely kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of, hey,
Oh, like,
I'm the
ha.
Nazi
Funny.
guy.
I'm a
Fucking hell.
Nazi.
Is he actually a Nazi? Or did he just say that?
No,
He just
joke.
No,
okay.
he made
Didn't
it
go
as a
down
joke,
well.
but he's like not funny.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, no, I was beginning to wonder whether he was like a Nazi or whether he like literally just said it just
no,
for
he's
like.
a provocateur. He wanted to
Oh,
provoke.
he just wanted to piss
wanted
off
to piss
everybody.
people
He said
off.
it as like a really stupid, dark joke, but he said it in such a like
That's a terrible
straight
joke
way
to
that no
make.
one found it funny. No
Oh,
one
for
realised he was
God's
joking.
Sake.
Oh, he's funny. He is
See,
a
that's
funny
the
guy.
thing though. Some people will genuinely find that funny because you'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, really?"
He did like an interview a couple of years after that where he said that he feels like bad about it and that he regretted saying it. And he was like, I have a really dark sense of humour. The people around me who know me knew I was just joking, but obviously it didn't come off that way.
Read the room, Lars. Fuck, you're at Cannes.
Yeah. To be fair, oh my god.
This movie premiered at Cannes and had, I think, something like 100 walkouts or something.
What? Because it was so fucking
course it
boring.
did.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
just
no,
like
it's-
people were just shocked by it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it is very shocking.
Yeah, there's
Oh, I
literally
didn't think it was that
Yeah, I was
shocking.
literally
I
about
just
to
thought it was
say.
We
boring
watched
as
the uncut
shit.
version. If there's
What?
an uncut version, I don't know how much is added. I don't think that cutting off of the breast is in the.
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
cut
yeah.
version's literally just they cut a lot of the gore out.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I
But-
completely forgot about that bit. That bit was so like what was that woman even thinking? Right, she just hands this guy a pen and just lets him just draw on her boobs, and then she goes, "God, you're so weird.
You're fucking weird.
Like, why did you let him do that first?"
Yeah, he cuts them off, puts one of them on someone's windshield wiper, and then turns the other one into a wallet.
Yeah, disgusting stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of disgusting stuff. I don't know why they bothered to make a cut version of this if it's going for like overt fucking provocation.
I think it was a studio decision, so
Yeah.
it got like rated an R or something.
It's
So-
about violence though, and it's
Yeah.
about like gore and showing what you can and can't show. If that's all taken out of it, it takes something away from the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he does go like as far as I think you can possibly go in a movie. There's literally like a
Mhm.
sequence like where the guy kills a woman and her two children, and you see
Mhm.
like her children being brutally killed, and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Even if one of like the kids like getting shot, it just like turns into like a rag doll. It's like so
Yeah.
obviously fake.
Yeah, that was dumb. I didn't care that he killed the kids though. I thought that was like, oh, whatever. I don't know these kids. He just came, this is my family, by the way. Like, here's the next incident. Here's my family. I'm like, wait, what? Who the hell are these cunts? And I just wish they maybe have spent a bit more time developing that. Or like, if the whole movie had been about that. Or like, where he was a serial killer and he was like, I've changed my ways. I met a girl. She has 2 sons. And now I love them. And then like, it built up their relationship, and then at the end he killed them. That would probably have been a bit more interesting.
Yeah, but
But it is
that's not the
put-
point of the movie. That's not what it's going for.
I know, but even so, to just like, and the kids are dead. Isn't this fucked up? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Whatever. I don't know these kids. I didn't care for the characters. I don't think you're really supposed to. Because I guess it's just about mindless violence and consuming mindless violence and how that affects your brain. Has it affected us as people in society that we're like desensitized to it? Maybe, especially like with the news as it is nowadays.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a weird thing to be part of a generation of people like ours and probably like the ones after us who are just like so used to seeing so much shit that
You
we
just
just
go to r/watch people die subreddit. And,
like
Yeah.
like it just
You could
goes
see
over
any
your
of
head a
this.
little bit, doesn't it? Like I feel like it's almost not
Yeah.
normal to be this conditioned to being like, oh look, another
he
car
cut her
crash.
tits off,
Oh
great.
yeah, look, he's done this. Oh look, this has happened. But
Yeah.
you're just so used to it.
That's why you gotta be smart when you're making a horror movie. If it's going to be gory, you need to show us something different or like have a purpose to what you're showing. Because we've all seen a bunch of bullshit on the internet, and like we've all seen like basically the extremes of how far you can go with violence. I think
Yeah.
prove me wrong. I don't know, but
No,
yeah,
I don't-
I never found any of
yeah.
it particularly shocking.
No, neither did I, and that's why I never understand when people watch films like that and are like, "Whoa, that is so crazy," and I'm like,
That might have
"Oh,
been
I
the
must
point,
be
though,
insane."
because he is talking to this kind of priest character, or maybe he's the devil. Who knows? Just
Yeah,
somebody he's
I got the
talking to at
idea.
the
It's kind of
afterlife.
like
He wasn't very impressed
it's like
with
an anti-guardian angel.
Yeah.
He's like the person who's taking him to his point in hell.
Yeah, he's like, God, look, man, I
I'm
killed
not
all
gonna
these
stop
people.
you.
Isn't this great? He's very unimpressed with him. He's like, I've seen this a million times, Jack. I don't think you're not going to tell me anything I've never heard before. It's
Yeah.
like, you're a dime a dozen. You're all the same. And he's just like, he thinks he's making great art. He
Yeah.
thinks he's doing something important and that he's different. But there's this guy that at the end of it all is like, you actually weren't very special. You were a cunt.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like you haven't done anything that Jeffrey Dahmer didn't do, nothing that Ed Gein didn't do. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll you know.
You think you'll be remembered for this? You
Yeah.
won't be.
And I think that's also something to remember, I guess.
Something to commend for the movie, I think, taking that route with it.
Yeah, sort of like
Yeah.
leaving a legacy, but you're not. Well, not like that anyway.
It was
Although-
nothing in the end because he did all these horrible things in service of nothing.
Although, does anyone still think about the actual house that he made with all the dead corpses? Because I think about that quite a lot,
Yeah,
actually.
that's pretty cool.
That's the only bit of the film
Mhm.
that I even think about, is that I go, God, he actually like made a house structure with
Did he?
frozen bodies. What?
Did he?
Well, the film showed that he did, but I thought it was
Yeah.
cool. That was a cool bit.
He also escapes through a hole in the ground and goes directly to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
he
I think
does.
what actually happens is when that police officer shoots, that's when he like gets
I
shot
think
and
that's
dies.
when he dies, yeah. I don't think he escapes through a little hole in the ground. I think
Wait,
maybe
wait,
his soul
wait.
escapes through
Sorry,
the little hole.
are we, do you know what you just reminded me of? Do you remember that random like 10 seconds where they're just floating in the bubbles for like
Yeah.
no reason? That was the best. I like
There's,
that
like,
bit so much.
The weird sequence of like his journey into hell like
Yeah.
goes on really long.
It's
There's
like
like
SpongeBob.
Yeah, it was
there's
so
literally
fucking
just like
funny.
a bit where they're just going through these caves, like walking through like
Yeah.
water. It's like that documentary, The Rescue or something.
Yeah.
It was so random.
That was the best part of the movie, I thought. All the visuals were crazy. They're going through hell. Just going into these different places. It's like rivers of blood and like walls of blood and just walking around seeing the sights. He like looks out of a window. He sees his childhood. Like, it's all. It was all there for the taking. He's basically there to like have a chat and look back on his life and if it really mattered all that much. And I guess he tries to get out in the end. It's like, oh, you could go around here. I mean, the bridge is destroyed, but you can go around, like, try to rock climb your way around to the other end of the bridge, and you probably get out. But of course, he bottles it, and he fucking falls in, because, like, you can't really escape fate in that way. I think that was what it was trying to be. He was also not very special. He was not, he was like, yeah, some people have tried, but they didn't make it. They didn't make it. He was like, well, I'll try and I will make it, but then he doesn't and he dies.
Yeah, and then the film just like hard cuts to some like classic rock music.
Yeah. Really funny stuff.
so dumb.
There was like a lot of like weird classic rock stuff in the movie, like
Mhm.
how it keeps cutting back to David Bowie's Fame playing for some reason.
Yeah.
There's like all these like sequences. They're like a parody of a Bob Dylan sequence from his documentary Don't Look Back, where he's like Subterranean Homesick Blues is playing. He's got the like holding the card with the words on it. They've got the lyrics and he's throwing them all on the ground. There's like a recreation of that, which happens a lot throughout. Didn't really understand it. I assume it's like meant to be like a joke, but it's not really funny.
Those sequences annoyed me. They just cut to him like with a bunch of flashcards with words on them and numbers. He just like hold them up while he was sitting against a car. It's like, this just makes the movie longer.
Yeah.
Just take it out, please.
Oh, yeah, I
You know
didn't
that
like
scene
those,
where like
yeah.
he's a little boy and he cuts the leg off a duck. Like, just take it out, please. I don't think that was very necessary.
It's like, look, he was always fucked up.
Like, okay,
Poor
it's not
duck.
necessary, really. I don't think.
No.
No.
There's a lot of that in it that just doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, like a 20-minute talk about fucking grapes.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I was so bitter about it because it was literally boring me to tears.
I liked how he was in the apartment with his girlfriend and she was like screaming, but nobody came to see her or like see if she was okay. And even he was like, we'll scream together and we'll scream if maybe somebody will hear us if we all scream together. And he like opens the window and shouts like, oh, help. There's a murderer in here. I'm going to be killed. And then he's just like, yeah, nobody's come to help you.
It's just
See
like
that?
that bit in Eminem's Kim where she's screaming and he goes, no one's going to hear you. I'll scream also. And he starts screaming also.
All right. Yeah. That's it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that does happen.
It's pretty accurate, though. Do you know what? I think it mostly comes down to the fact that people will hear it and they'll be concerned. But I think when you think about your own safety, you think, I'm not going to go and investigate that because then I'm putting myself in trouble. because it's not that people don't hear it and don't care. It's
I'm
they
just
don't.
looking out for number one.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know what? Fine.
I understand the mindset,
I get it.
but
Yeah,
at the same
I totally
time,
understand it. It's fucked
someone's
up, but
got
I
to
get
step
it.
in. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing
Someone
is,
has
we
to be
hear
the
stuff like
hero.
that. You can't just, there's a
She
phone
also lived
number,
in
there's the
fucking
popo.
shitty little building with like a billion other flats.
Yeah, like, do you know what I thought?
in like
though?
a horrible, ditchy part of wherever the fuck they were.
Yeah, like,
of course, like it's full of like crackheads or whatever.
yeah, but like, wouldn't you think like maybe this is just me because I've lived in like well, obviously only student flats, but like a block of flats or whatever. And if you make too much noise, you will immediately hear someone from upstairs or next door going because they want you to shut the fuck up. And you would have thought someone else had done that. You know, get the broom like on Friends where they're just like slamming the ceiling. But no, apparently not.
I think Matt Dillon is incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
His performance is like probably one of, if not the best things about it, I think.
It's
Definitely, yeah. I think
Yeah.
he pulls off a stellar performance. Everybody's kind of going ham with it. And everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He definitely knows what's going on and what is expected of him. He's very funny, but very twisted when he needs to be. And like you get the sense that he's a fucking psycho. He's like staring in the mirror with like a bunch of pictures that he's put up of like different people's faces so he can mimic their emotions. He
Yeah, that
knows
was-
he's a psychopath. He
that was
can't
so
mimic people's
creepy.
emotions. He's like, smile. And just like smiles in the mirror at himself. Smile.
Yeah, that feels quite authentic though. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It didn't ever feel like I was watching someone who wasn't like that. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? I was like, shit.
Because he's a good looking guy. That's how he gets people to
It's the whole Ted
be with
Bundy
him.
situation,
I'm like,
isn't
yeah,
it?
that's how
really?
he got that woman to be with him and her kids. That's how he got the woman he calls Simple to be with him.
Although that stupid lady who let him into her house,
Yeah.
she was just dumb.
He was an idiot.
Like, oh, you're not a detective, but you can get me extra pension. It's like,
Yeah.
no, don't let that man in. He's just lied to you about who he was, but you did it anyway. You
Sometimes
deserved
people
it.
are idiots, though. I
Yeah,
don't think she deserved it for being a bit stupid.
No.
I do. You don't let people like that
Fucking
into
hell.
your gaff. Well, not deserve to die, but you should at least think about the consequences of someone doing that kind of thing. Like, you never should let anyone into your house if you don't even think for a second, I don't know this person, they could kill me. Because I think about that all the time. Like, even when I'm like
Oh, yeah.
out and about, I'm
That's
like,
why I never let
God,
Jehovah's Witnesses into my home.
they never come into the home. They just stand at the door, don't they?
I wouldn't even go that far. Wouldn't even open the door to them.
just talk through
Leave me
the
alone.
door flap.
Bad enough they fucking come up to me on the street.
Or at the duck pond.
Or at the fucking duck pond.
Apparently this film was inspired by the rise of Donald Trump.
Really?
There was like an interview where
What?
he was like, the film celebrates the idea that life is evil and soulless, which is sadly proven by the recent rise of the Homo Trumpus, the Rat King.
Who said that?
Lars von Trier.
The Homo Trumpus,
Homo
the,
Trumpus,
rat
the Rat
King.
King.
I wish he quoted that in the film somewhere. I love that.
That's great.
Are you writing that down? Please tell me you're writing that down.
Trumpus.
The Rat King.
It's the Rat King.
He is the Rat King, to be fair.
Yeah.
And Liz Truss is our Rat Queen.
But there is like that sequence where he's with the family and they've all got the red caps on, which I assume is probably
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reference to that.
I thought so. They wouldn't even take them off.
Yeah, that
when they were
makes
being
so
shot
much
at.
sense.
Which is, yeah, you know. That's obviously a commentary on that. It makes it really easy to spot them
Yep.
when he's out shooting them. Oh, yeah. They won't even take them off for that. You know?
Yeah. We got anything else to say about this? Are we good to wrap it up?
No,
No,
not
I'm
about,
alright.
not,
Yeah, we
yeah,
can
not
wrap
about
it
this
up.
one, no.
Do it out of Homo Trumpus, the Rat Kings.
That is a long a long one.
Yeah, I do think this is a really excessive movie. It's not my favorite of his movies, but it's also not my least favorite. There's a lot of really great stuff here. Like I said, I do think there's a great movie in there. It's just sadly bogged down by too much bullshit. I think I give it 7 Homo Trumpus, the Rat Kings out of 10. But I don't know, that could change upon a second viewing. I could be more positive or I could be a lot more negative.
Well, you got my
Hotel.
Blu-ray now, so
Yeah.
you can watch that at your leisure.
Can watch it anytime I want.
Mm. Also, like when they go into hell and they're like standing at the top of a waterfall and they look down, and there's like a house at the bottom. That looked fucking lovely.
Yeah.
It's not the worst Von Trier movie, I don't think. I think probably I thought Nymphomaniac was a bit more boring. But I don't know, I just didn't really like it. I have to watch more of his movies. I gotta watch Volume 2 of Nymphomaniac. I watch like The Idiots or something like that. He's a great director, I think. He's I think this might be his last one, or like
Possibly.
another one that he might make. Who knows?
Apparently when he was making it, he kind of viewed it as his possible last movie
Mhm.
anyway, because he's getting on a bit, but now he has Parkinson's, so it's like quite likely it will be his last one.
Yeah. Say what you want about the man. He's an interesting director, and he's a provocateur. It's always kind of a treat to watch one of his movies. This one kind of bored me a bit, or really a lot. It's way too long. You could really have done with getting cut down a bit. But, you know, Matt Dillon is very good. I like the themes of it and like what it's trying to say, but I wish it would say it less. 5 Homo Trumpus the Rat Kings out of 10.
There is no goddamn way I'm going to remember that fucking rating system. I just don't know. I really thought I was going to like it, and then I was just bored.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sad one because, yeah, I kind of wanted to dive into the retrospect of it all, but I was just too bored by the sound of grapes and his own commentary.
And all the Nazi stuff.
Yeah, and all the Nazi stuff that I had completely forgotten about. So I'm going to give it... Wait, hold on. 5 Homo Trumpus Rat Kings out of 10. I had to think about that. I don't even know if I said that correctly.
Homo Trumpus the Rat Kings. You got it.
Do you know what? By the end of this episode, I hope everybody else loves the term Homo... I nearly said Homo Rumpus Rat King. Just making up my own.
That's my new favourite phrase.
You are Homo Trumpus. You're a rat king.
New lyric. Cool. That's that. Halloween. We got a new Halloween one, a new spooky one to do.
Yeah, we get a
for
new
next
wheel.
Time, episode 97. We're going to spin a wheel of random Halloween themed or horror themed marathons we can do. And it'll tell us what's on the docket for next week. Why are you laughing?
The Hotel Transylvania movies.
We're going to watch the Hotel Transylvania movies.
It's not even a horror movie.
There's vampires and werewolves.
Cool.
And
The
Adam
Hotel
Sandler.
Transylvania trilogy, I believe. We're going to watch all those. Right.
Did they make a 4th one? I need to check that.
I think they're
I
making
think
a
I think
fourth
they're
one.
making it.
Let me
Hotel
look.
Transylvania.
Because there was one that I think came out this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah,
What,
there's
the fourth
4
one?
of them. The 4th one came out this year. Went straight to Prime.
Oh, okay. So we're going to watch 4.
If we have
We're gonna
time to
watch
watch
4 of them?
4, do we have time to watch 4
Yeah,
of them?
fuck it. Let's watch 4 of
Okay,
them.
we're going to watch all
They're all
4.
90 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
cool.
yeah, doable.
All 4 Hotel Transylvania movies, the quadrilogy. That'll be a fun one. I haven't seen the 4th one.
No, neither have I.
I've
I
only
think I've only seen the first 2.
I think
I
I've
think.
seen all 3, but I don't really remember the 3rd one.
No.
I might not have seen whatever. Great. Watch those and join in the discussion next week. We got social media.
Woo!
YouTube, the Sunday Movie Marathon.
Woo!
Instagram at Sunday Movie Pod.
Woo!
Twitter at Sunday Movie Pod.
Woo!
Facebook at Sunday Movie Marathon.
Woo!
And Letterboxd at Sunday MM. Capital S, capital MM.
Woo!
Remember to like, subscribe,
Woo!
and rate the podcast.
Woo!
How many stars?
5!
Do that.
Woo!
Wherever you get your podcasts, or if there's not a rating system, leave us a comment. And what's your favourite scary movie? Tell us now. Any last words?
Boo.
That was
so disappointing, so anticlimactic. Homo Rumpus.
Homo Trumpus the Rat King forever.
Yeah.
I remember